Hey guys, it's Heather. I wanted to show you how to do a knit stitch in case you are trying to learn from YouTube videos the way I did, or in case you just forgot when someone taught you. So what I've done here is I've cast on a whole bunch of stitches and I'm going to begin to knit. So I did a long tail cast on here, and so what that means is I use this long tail and I use that to make all these stitches. But the most important thing about getting started is that I don't accidentally knit with this long tail. So sometimes it helps just to cut it off to where you would use about 4 or 5 inches so you don't accidentally use it, but you still have enough to weave it in at the end. Otherwise, I just like to throw it to the back. So the first step in knitting is going to be just to hold the needle in a way that's comfortable for you. My needles are crazy big because I wanted to show this to you, but I normally actually hold my needle kind of like a pencil, like this, and I use my working hand, but it's kind of an advanced way to hold it. You can also prop it against the table and use it like kind of like a spear, or you can just kind of hold it like you would any other kind of a knife or something, and just do the best you can. You also need to hold the yarn in your hand with the needle. So what I do is I stick it between my 2 fingers, I close them up, and then I use this finger. But basically, when you're learning to make these knit stitches, please don't worry about how to hold the needles and everything. Just worry about what this hand is doing, what this process is doing, and then we'll get the finessing of the style of it later once you kind of figure out the mechanics of what we're doing. So what you're going to do, you take the tip of your needle, which is, this is called the tip, just like in, you know, other things. You take that and you're going to stick it underneath, just like that, underneath this piece of yarn, and through. One way to think of it is like this loop, or it's called a stitch, but this loop kind of looks like someone who's riding a horse. Like if this was the horse, you got one leg on this side and one leg on that side. So what you're going to do is stick it through the front leg, between the leg and the horse, from the front to the back. You make sure your yarn is in the back. You're going to take your yarn, which is in the back, you're going to wrap it around the back of the needle that's in the back, the one that you just speared. You wrap it around this needle and pull it down. Now if you look at it from the front, hopefully you can see a nice little loop here has been put onto my right needle. So now all I need to do is get this needle up and off of my left needle. So what you do to do that is you pull the tip, so the tip kind of grabs that piece of yarn, pulls it through. And then just give this working yarn a little tug to make your stitch look better. Goodness, that came undone. This giant yarn is crazy. So you go through, you know, right between the legs there. Go back around so that you're making a loop. See, my little loop is showing through. I take the tip of the needle to pull that loop up, and then I slide it off. So I go front to back, around, see that loop, pull it up, over, and off. Now the way I also think about it is if you push it through, go back around, I think of this as a little lever that goes front to back. So it's like it goes up and off, this motion over and over again. So you just stick it through the leg there, take this, go around the back and between, and then have that same motion again. And then I'm going to do it 2 more times, just watching you. So you can do it like, think of it as scooping it up and off, or you can think of it as doing the lever. And then when you're done, I finished, all I do is I finished here, right? All I do now, I finished this way, sorry. I grab the tip and I just tip it up, tip it. It was like this, I tip it the other way. It's a pretty easy thing to do. So you're just kind of pivot it over. Okay, I'm gonna do it again. And your guys, your stitches are gonna look funky. There's a beginner's mind that you need to have where you just say, okay, today these are not going to look good, but tomorrow they will look better. And you just keep on practicing and being open-minded. And if you feel like you a little bit know how to do it, then you can start helping your friends when you're knitting together, because this is not a perfection-only teaching situation. Okay, so here we go. You're going to stick the tip of your needle, tip, through. I'm going to wrap my yarn around the back and between. Now, I'm going to grab this little piece of yarn and have the tip bring it up and slide it off. Or you think of it as this motion. Now, I don't have the yarn connected right now, so I can show you what your needle is doing. This needle stays stationary. This needle moves up and off. So if you're having trouble getting the hang of it, you can do this for a little bit, and that helps you with that last part. That makes it very much more easy, and it makes it much easier to understand. So now I'm gonna, see, I've been doing this a bunch of times. Now I'm gonna do it with the yarn. It goes in, my yarn goes around the back and between, and I just do that same motion again that I did a bunch of times. Down, up, down, up and off, over, off, down, up and over, off. And if you get a situation where you feel like you're not getting anything on this side of this needle, it's because you're not going off. You're going down, around, up and over. But if you don't take the second to slide the whole business down to the end and off, that's when you're going to end up with more stitches on here. I just want to give you one more tip, and then you're good to go. If you find yourself constantly adding stitches onto your thing, I can tell you why you're doing that. You make a stitch, you're in between, you're up and over, you're feeling confident, and then somehow you end up with your yarn on the wrong side. It ends up in front of the needle instead of behind. It's really easy to do, especially you go and get a cup of coffee or something, and you've put your yarn on the wrong side, and then to get it to the back, you just pull it over the top. Well, that's actually a way to add a stitch, and it's called a yarn over. But you'll see when I go to knit again, just my normal move, now I have created 3 stitches. And what this is gonna do, I don't know if my battery died right in the middle of that. What this will do is this little extra stitch that I just accidentally made is gonna make a hole. So if I want to knit lace, I'm going to intentionally put these in. But when you're just trying to knit it, you know, like a hat, you don't want that. So I'm going to finish my row, and I'm going to do it again just to show you how easy it is to make a mistake. So I'm going to knit, and then my yarn ends up into the front. That's because I put it over here. I set it down. I pick it up again, and I accidentally go in, and then I go back to do the round. And what you need to do when that happens, when you accidentally get your yarn in the front, is make sure it goes between the needles to get to the back. So if it jumps the gate, it makes a stitch, but if it goes in the middle of the gate, if it jumps the fence, it makes a stitch. If it goes out the gate, it doesn't cause a problem. All right, so you are all set now. You know how to do the knit stitch. Do yourself a favor. Don't try to make them all perfect. When you get to the end of a row and you feel like you've done it, celebrate, and then grab the tip, turn it over, start again. But if you see a mistake, your very first knitting project, don't take it out. Just keep going, because it can just be a little bit of character for your first project, and then the next one you won't do it. So thanks for watching, and I'm going to make another video to show you how to purl. So stay tuned. Bye.